We live on an amazing planet filled with animals and plants unlike anywhere else in the universe. But we do truly appreciate this fact, because every day we see stories about animal extinctions and disappearing ecosystems. And if this continues, soon there will be no life on Earth to speak of. So what does extinction really mean? Could we, the human race, be the next great extinction? This is the next great extinction event. We tend to think of extinction as something that happens over millions of years. A species slowly changes and eventually dies out completely. When it comes to other animals, we don't often think about them going extinct, because we have never seen it happen before. However, there have been 5 major extinction events throughout the Earth's history, where the majority of living things were wiped out. And even more astonishing is that life still exists today after these mass extinctions. Let's take a closer look at the most significant extinction events that have happened. First, let's talk about the Ordovician-Silurian extinction event. Around 443 million years ago, during the age of the dinosaurs, a massive ice age struck the planet. Temperatures plummeted, and glaciers spread across the land. Around 85% of all marine species vanished, including many trilobites, which are a type of arthropod. And although there was some life left on Earth, the oceans were empty. Life on Earth began to recover, but it would take 60 million years for biodiversity to return to normal. In 360 million years, the next mass extinction event occurred during the Devonian period. This time it was warmer than usual, and new landmasses formed. Scientists believe that the formation of new continents altered ocean currents, causing dramatic climate change. In addition, a huge asteroid impact led to a chain reaction of events that resulted in the extinction of around 75% of all species, including many fish. Once again, life had to start over. Around 252 million years ago, at the end of the Permian period, life on Earth faced its greatest challenge. The Siberian Traps event marked the beginning of the largest volcanic eruption in the history of the Earth. Lava flowed over a vast region and released massive amounts of gases and dust into the atmosphere. This caused global warming, ocean acidification, and dramatic climate change. As a result, around 90% of all marine species and 70% of terrestrial vertebrate species went extinct. There was hardly any life left on Earth. And once again, it took millions of years for biodiversity to return to normal. Then, in 2014, the Cretaceous-Speleogene extinction event took place. During the late Cretaceous, a large asteroid struck the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. This led to the formation of the Chicxulub crater, which is now located in the state of Campeche. The asteroid impact caused earthquakes, tsunamis, and wildfires around the world. But perhaps the most significant impact was the dust cloud that blocked sunlight and caused a long period of darkness. Due to the lack of photosynthesis, plants died and the food chain collapsed. As a result, around 75% of all species disappeared, including the dinosaurs, which had dominated the Earth for over 180 million years. Mammals and birds survived, but they had to wait another 66 million years for another chance to diversify. And finally, there's the Holocene extinction event, which began around 11,700 years ago. At the end of the last ice age, humans started hunting large animals, and some species couldn't adapt to the changing climate. Today, we have caused the 6th mass extinction. We are currently in the middle of it, and according to some scientists, we are responsible for the accelerated extinction of species worldwide. Animals are becoming extinct at a rate of 100 to 1,000 times higher than the natural rate, and in the near future, there may be no animals left on Earth. But why do we feel disconnected from nature? Why don't we care that animals are going extinct? To understand this, we need to go back in time to see how humans evolved. The theory of evolution states that humans and other living organisms have descended from common ancestors, and over billions of years, life on Earth has diversified. For millions of years, our ancestors lived in Africa, surviving by hunting small animals and gathering fruit. Over time, humans gradually began to spread around the world. But until 12,000 years ago, we were just another animal. When the last ice age ended, temperatures rose and humans discovered that they could survive by growing crops and raising livestock. This led to the development of cities, states, and empires. And within a few thousand years, humans had become the dominant species on Earth. Today, we have changed the Earth to suit our needs. And although there are still many wild places left on Earth, we have very little connection with them. Most of us live in cities and our food comes from supermarkets. We can go weeks without seeing or hearing wild animals. And it's easy to forget that we are part of nature and not separate from it. Our current way of life is only possible because of the exploitation of fossil fuels, which has allowed us to produce huge amounts of goods and services. Thanks to cheap energy, we can buy almost anything we want, from televisions to mobile phones. But this hyper-connected world has also made us forget our origins. Most people have never seen a wild animal in its natural habitat, and it's easy to forget that we are part of nature. The giant earthquake in Turkey and Syria in February 2023 is a reminder of nature's power. Within seconds, it destroyed entire cities and killed tens of thousands of people. Although it's impossible to predict when the next earthquake will occur, what we know is that they have always played a key role in the history of life on Earth. Earthquakes have created mountains and shaped entire continents. They have also contributed to major extinction events. For example, the impact of an asteroid in the Yucatan Peninsula 66 million years ago may have been triggered by an earthquake in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. On February 2023, the strongest earthquake in modern history shook Turkey and Syria, killing tens of thousands of people. The epicenter of the earthquake was near the city of Gaziantep in southern Turkey. The earthquake had a magnitude of 7.8 and was felt as far away as in Cyprus. The earthquake caused entire buildings to collapse, and tens of thousands of people were trapped under the rubble. After the earthquake, it started to rain, and the temperature dropped below 0 degrees Celsius, and people who had been outside were at risk of hypothermia. The Turkish government declared a level 4 alert, which means that all available resources must be used to deal with the crisis. Earthquakes can also cause other natural disasters such as tsunamis. On December 26, 2004, a 7.6 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Sumatra in Indonesia. The earthquake caused a tsunami that hit 14 countries in total and claimed the lives of more than 220,000 people. Tsunamis are one of the most destructive natural disasters known to man and can cause extensive damage in coastal areas. They are usually caused by earthquakes that occur under the sea and can cause waves up to 100 meters high. The waves travel at speeds of up to 800 kilometers per hour and can cause enormous damage in coastal areas. But what do these natural disasters tell us about the future of humanity? Can they help us avoid the mistakes of the past? Well, let's learn from the past. The first lesson is that we should learn from the animals that have already disappeared. Some species have managed to survive for millions of years by adapting to changing environments. For example, crocodiles have been on Earth for more than 200 million years. They have survived several mass extinctions by slowing their metabolism down to extremely low levels, entering a state called torpor. This allows them to go without food for months, and we can learn from them by adopting a more sustainable lifestyle. Another lesson is that we should not ignore warnings from the natural world. For example, the rapid disappearance of insects could have serious consequences for the food chain. Many species depend on insects for pollination, and if they disappear, so will these species. We should also pay attention to the warning signs that nature is giving us. The third lesson is that we should not repeat the mistakes of the past. For example, the dinosaurs became extinct because they couldn't adapt to the changing environment. But mammals survived and eventually dominated the Earth. We should be open to change and be willing to adapt to new circumstances. Finally, we should remember that we are all connected. We are part of the natural world, and everything that happens on Earth affects us. The only way we can survive is by working together, by learning from the past. We can avoid the mistakes of previous civilizations and build a better future for ourselves and for the planet.